Visit PellaofNashville.com today. Pella Windows and Doors of Nashville, a century of excellence built to last.
Primetime action with Gil Alexander.
We have our friends, some of whom are huge sports fans, some of whom like to gamble.
And Matt Brown.
70% of my bet is probably in-game.
Weeknights at 6 on your home for VSiN, 94.9 The Fan and the Fan app.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9 The Fan.
30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee. It's the George Plaster Show, featuring Tennessee Sports Hall of Famers Kelly Holcomb and young gun Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on a Tuesday that for the moment is cloudy, but in a couple hours, maybe 3, look out because we got some major stuff moving in here. Now, most of the worst of it appears to be down in Mississippi. I'm looking at the radar right now, and you go all the way from like Lafayette, Louisiana, all the way up through into Jackson, Tennessee. It's past there and looks like we're now past Lexington, Tennessee with this stuff. So it's going to hit, looks like right around 6 o'clock tonight. They're talking about like 50-mile-per-hour winds. So this is going to get fairly intense. Now, Kelly Holcomb's going to laugh at me, make fun, and do his thing. But you know what? I don't care.
George, yesterday at this time, you said 24 hours from now it will not be the same weather. And pretty much it is the same weather here in Murfreesboro. So you're like every other meteorologist. You can be wrong and you're fine. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Kelly, first of all, I'm not a meteorologist. Let's make that clear.
Well, you moonlight as that because
Well,
I think
deep
down, you going home watching the Weather Channel, I think that's what you long to be.
You know, I told somebody about that this morning. They got a good laugh out of it. Good. So I see you're wearing another freebie.
I'm here all day, man. I got free jokes all day. I'm here all day. I'm
talking about the clothing.
I know. I see. Players Inc., baby.
Yeah, that appears to be a freebie.
One thing you weren't, a player.
By the way, I did not appreciate that snide text you sent me last night during Lipscomb's win. Do I need to read that to the people?
No, let's don't read it. Let's don't read it today. It wasn't. Let's don't read it today. Billy. I mean, it's just. I saw him sitting over there. I saw him sitting over there, and I said, "I'm going to be nice." And I just like the little man on my shoulder starts talking to me, and I just can't turn him down. Like he tells me, he says, "You got to say something," and I said something. I have to. George just brings it out in me, man.
Billy, at one point, I know where Kelly is. He's across from me, and so I point him out to Kevin Stallings, and I said, "This guy over there, there's something not right about him."
There's a lot of folks that would say that.
So I met Kelly's daughter last night for the first time, and she sent to me her condolences.
She did. Did she really?
She did. And
what did she say?
She said, "You're absolutely right. Our dad's not normal." She seems like a nice young lady, and congratulations on the news involving a future wedding. I'll leave it at that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Her mother did a good job. She raised her and all my children in a good way, in spite of me. Because I'm the fourth child. There's no doubt.
What was it she said at one point? Mom has to talk him off the ledge. It was something like that. It was beautiful. Anyway, enjoyed it. Congratulations to Lipscomb. They have advanced now to the semifinals of the ASUN, and they will play something called Queens on Thursday night. Queens beat them earlier in the year at Allen Arena. So this may not be easy.
No, it is not. Queens is pretty good. That whole league is pretty good. Like EKU got knocked off by Jacksonville, but like the whole league they got some teams.
Got some stuff going on.
Yep.
Billy.
Yes.
Did you enjoy the weather forecast, the update, the alert?
Yeah, the forewarned weather forecast.
Yeah,
from
well,
Georgia.
Let me
George,
put it this way.
what's the exact time that this is coming in so I can be prepared?
I'm guessing around 6.
Around 6.
Around 6.
We can book it. We can book that.
No, oh no. I am not a staff meteorologist. I just play one. So, Billy, when those 50-mile-per-hour winds knock your little butt over, you'll remember that Uncle George warned you.
Uncle George. First time I've heard that one.
Do you have an update with any substance?
I do. It's got a little bit of substance today.
Meat on the bone?
Yeah, we've got some meat on the bone.
Okay.
It's brought to you by Lori Burnett Leland. You can find her online at mortgageladyyusa.com or give her a call, 615-969-4350. We've been talking about the Atlantic Sun tournament. We do have a bracket for the Missouri Valley tournament. Belmont will not play until, Friday? They will play Friday against the winner of 5-seeded Illinois State and 12-seeded Missouri State. And they are on the same side as Drake. The 1 seed, Belmont got the 4 seed in that tournament.
We will have a reporter on site.
How about that?
Thus,
nice.
We will have live reports Friday. Kelly, we spare no expense on budget.
That's right. Where we're getting the cash, nobody knows.
No one. Also, tonight we've got a loaded slate in the SEC, triple header on the SEC network starting at 5 o'clock. Georgia is a 1.5-point favorite at South Carolina. Also, number 19, Kentucky and LSU at 6 o'clock. At 7, Mississippi State and Texas. And then at 8 o'clock, number 1, Auburn going to College Station to play Texas A&M, the 22nd ranked Aggies. And then at 9 o'clock tonight, I'm not going to this one. Are you going to this one?
Absolutely.
9 o'clock for some reason. Vandy minus 7.5.
Is this
in Arkansas?
I can't stay up that late. Give me a break.
I'd rather not be
really.
I'd rather not be getting home at midnight.
Oh, based
Billy,
on what?
Billy, you're 16 years old. You're 16 years old, man. Like, get out in the world, dude. Enjoy it.
It's been a long
that's when
day.
you do things when you're young.
I'm not interested in going to the game tonight.
Are you kidding me?
It's at 9 o'clock.
Who cares?
That's ridiculous.
I stayed up until 1 a.m. for a triple overtime with the Preds.
Well, that's
Preds.
Preds.
Been several years ago.
Yes, and that was a playoff game, probably. So Vandy at 9 o'clock tonight.
What a whiny little thing you've turned into.
Hey, at 11:30 or midnight when you're getting home, you're going to be wishing you made the same decision, I bet.
No, I don't think so. I don't operate that way. I have some guts.
Some guts, okay.
Some intestinal fortitude.
Yes. For lack of what it is we really want to say.
Well, speaking of guts, Pete Rose had some guts during his career. He came out and said that he believed he'd make the Hall of Fame after he dies. He said in what is thought to be his last interview before he passed at the age of 83 on September the 30th of last year, he said he believed that I'll make the Hall of Fame after I die. It was a sit-down interview with a sportscaster in Dayton, Ohio for an undisclosed documentary. So he was saying the same thing a lot of other people had been saying, that he believed he'd make the Hall after he dies.
So are you going to get to the story? The story is the family has petitioned Major League Commissioner Rob Manfred for him to be reinstated or taken off the permanently ineligible list. Then I've got some real feelings about this, because if this is the way this plays out, this to me is a little cruel. to basically say, we'll put you in when, you'll be eligible when you're dead. Don't get me wrong. Pete Rose, he had a lot of faults, but why is Major League Baseball acting like this? Danny Evans, by the way, will join us for a few minutes tomorrow to talk about this issue and other things.
That was a big piece of news there. I was going to eventually get to that.
Okay, good.
Also, the Eagles have rewarded Saquon Barkley with a $41.2 million extension. That makes him the highest paid running back in NFL history. I don't know why every single deal we come up with in the NFL every 3 months is now the highest paid. It just keeps up in the ante. But it includes a $36 million guaranteed at signing, makes him the first NFL running back getting more than $20 million per year.
Do you realize how much, what's the word I'm looking for? How much cachet you have lost with this? I can't stay up till 11. Oh my God! Look at
it's
Kelly.
A 9:00 basketball game.
Deal with it.
I've been to every single home
Kelly
game.
Said,
I think I can miss one at 9:00.
You're 14. Give me a break.
Yeah, I'm 14.
We're 14 and we're single.
I'm not 14.
And we're single again, Billy. I mean, go out and enjoy the benefits of life.
The benefits of life. What does this show come to?
I don't know. We've lost it early today. Earlier
courtesy
than normal.
of you.
Yeah.
But
when Tony hears about this, he may not hire you.
Oh, he'll still hire him.
Think so?
He feels sorry for him. There's no question.
What else you got there?
The Jets.
You've taken on some water today, it appears.
This is every day.
No,
you think this is a new occurrence?
This is worse than most.
The Jets have continued to overhaul their roster as they release wide receiver Devontae Adams.
You can't wait to get to the commercial, can you?
I cannot wait.
They need to overhaul their whole facility. That's what they need to do. They're terrible.
Get a big old bucket of ammonia. If you're the Titans, is he of interest to you?
Absolutely. Anybody that can help me win games is of interest to me. Now, whether you can get him, I don't know, but he's kind of going down. He and I've told y'all before, we had the same agent, so I kind of know a little bit about him, but he's a good player. It just seems like everything we talk about timing. Everything was timing with him in Green Bay. He was with Aaron Rodgers. He made a name for himself. He's gone on his own to the Raiders, and then he got traded back to the Jets with Aaron. But I don't know. His best days are probably behind him, but he's still got some years ahead. So I would, if he's going to help me, and if he doesn't cost much money, I'm going after him.
The Jets also have given Alan Lazard permission to seek a trade. So their receiving core all of a sudden doesn't look very appealing to a potential quarterback.
All of Aaron's boys.
Yeah.
Out.
No.
Also, do we want to talk about the Preds? I don't think the Preds are worth talking about anymore. Are they playing? Are they playing the Bruins?
Tonight?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
We don't even know when the Preds play. But I did want to get to this one.
That the attitude's not going to get it done.
Yes.
Yes, the attitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
They do play the Bruins tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Up in Boston.
That'll be big. Also, the MTSU AD Chris Massaro has been appointed to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee.
Congrats to Chris. That's a nice honor. It's a really nice honor.
Nice.
How about that? I don't know how. I mean, how do they rotate? I guess he's the Conference USA representative.
No, I think this is just simply 5 went off and they hired 5 new, and Chris was one of them. It's a really nice honor.
That's awesome. And that's what I got. Vanderbilt baseball canceled their game today against Evansville because of the impending weather that George warned us about. So, but the basketball game is still on.
Jim Cantor. You mean Jim Cantori on the show here?
Yeah. Danielle Plaster.
Don't try to deflect the real problem that has surfaced.
All I know is I couldn't wait to get on today because I can firmly remember, George yesterday talking about 24 hours from now, it's not going to be as nice as it is now. And it looks the same out my window that it did 24 hours ago. So you've passed the first hurdle. You don't have to be right, George. So hey, why don't you go in and try it?
Let me tell you where I was right. 2 words: UCLA Bruins. Cha-ching. Yeah. Okay, we'll go to the break. Tony Basilio will join us. I'm sure he'll be disappointed when he hears the news that Billy's got to be in bed tonight by 7:30. This is 94.9 The Fan.
New year, new priorities. Family and safety come first. If a car or truck accident disrupts your life, Bart Durham Injury Law is here to help. We're local, experienced, and ready to fight for you. Call 615-242-9000. Happy 2025 from Bart Durham Injury Law.
Attention college basketball fans. The University of Kentucky and Gonzaga will square off Friday night, December the 4th at Bridgestone Arena, and you won't want to miss it. Tickets go on sale to the public this Friday, March the 7th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time at bridgestonearena.com and on the Ticketmaster app. 2 of the best college basketball programs playing right here in Nashville. Act now. Tickets will go quickly.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com. We are back. Before we bring Tony Basilio to our microphones, a listener sends me this. Tell Billy to wear his PJs and take his teddy bear to the game. It'll save him time when he gets home. It'll take Memorial Magic to another level.
I should have never
mommy,
said that.
And have mommy make him some warm milk before he goes.
Warm milk seems to be a staple of whatever Kelly comes with, Billy. It always includes the warm milk.
Warm milk. I just remember my wife making warm milk for my kids at nighttime to get them to go to sleep. So Billy's mom, warm milk.
Yeah. Let's go to Knoxville and say hello to Tony Basilio. Tony, Billy is distraught because apparently this 9 o'clock local start time for Vandy, Arkansas is too late for him.
I don't blame him. Memorial Midnight Madness, Billy. Repeat after me. Memorial Midnight Madness, brother.
I mean, do you blame me for not being interested in attending the game tonight, Tony?
Oh, totally. Blame you.
I mean, what are you, like 55 like I am? I mean, come on, Billy. You're a kid. Go over there and enjoy
That's what
yourself.
I told you. That's what I told him, Tony. He's 16 years old, man. He's free now. He's unwed. He doesn't have anything to do. Go to the game.
What was your deal about enjoy life?
Enjoy it.
Well, Kelly's also the guy that wants everybody to go drive around in the snow, enjoy rides when it's snowing and sleeting outside. So,
hey, if you need me to come up there next time, Tony, next time it snows, if you need me to come get you and take you to get you some bread and some milk, I'll do it.
Warm milk.
Yeah.
Kelly, thanks, but no thanks. I might send you to the store. I'm not getting in your car in the snow and ice.
So, inquiring minds want to know, how fun was your post-game show Saturday?
George, that's incredible, man. I mean, that shot, that last 50 seconds for Tennessee, how it looked like a surefire loss. And these guys, you know, the culture under Rick Barnes is they just make winning plays. And that's exactly what happened the other night. Winning plays, George. One winning play after another. And Barnes does it again.
And it feels like this is going to get them to the one line when the committee makes their final decision.
Not so quickly. I think they still have work to do. Look, they got to go 2-0 this week, and they've got a game, a 9 Eastern start. Talking about these late starts with Ole Miss tomorrow night there, which will be no walk in the park, and then they close with South Carolina. But the trick here is that Alabama and Florida both have to go 1-1 this week to sort of clear the deck for Tennessee. But even then, it might be a moving cheese kind of deal, because what you might see is we may see the committee say, okay, well, you got to win a game or two in the SEC tournament, where, George, a lot of years the SEC tournament doesn't matter. But it's like those guys on the committee can't decide whether or not it counts. Some years it counts. Some years it doesn't count. Tennessee won the SEC tournament one year down in Tampa, went all the way and won the thing, and did not move off their seed line that CBS showed 4 weeks out from the tournament. So I guess we'll wait and see what happens. But in my mind, if they go 2-0 this week, if the Vols do, and they win a game in Nashville, they should be the 1 seed, but we'll see what happens.
We have a new listener comment into the show. Tell Billy to Red Bull up and man up.
Should have never said that.
That was a big mistake. Do you think there's much difference, honestly, being a 1 or a 2?
There is for Barnes, yeah. The 1 year that he was a 1 seed, he went to the Final Four. And so that was the 1 year he was a 1 seed. Plus, 1 seeds win national championships too, George. That's the other number. But between being a 1 and a 2, anytime that he's been a 2 in his career, he gets at least to the Sweet 16. So there is that.
Yeah. So talk to us about Meshack, because you can see Barnes trying to burn the timeout. He's not able to get it, which turns it into a no. Great shot. Talk to me a little bit about Meshack.
Meshack had an incredible last 40 seconds. He's the guy that started the party when they were down 4, when he split defenders and grabbed an offensive rebound, put it back up and in, went to the foul line, made the play there. And then on the other end, the play that set up the 3-ball to win the game, that was near a half-court shot, but Tennessee was able to force a 3-second call out of Alabama. On that particular play, as someone astutely pointed out on my blog today over at tclub.team, he went out and covered 3 different guys essentially on the play. Meshack did, in leading Tennessee to turning the ball over there and ultimately turning it into a 3-pointer. But that was a shot heard around the world. Meshack is a winning basketball player. It's who he is. It's who he's been. He has done the heavy lifting since he got on campus. He's an incredible athlete. He's one of these college basketball players that I would love to see play football because he has a football player mentality. I could imagine that kid at defensive end or at tight end. He would be absolutely scary. But George, after the game, he was asked about that 3-point shot and hearing the crowd roar like that. And he said, to tell you the truth, he said, I like it all. He said, I like just as much when I look in a guy's eyes and I know on defense that I've beaten him because he's looking at me like, no more, please don't cover me like that. Guy's an absolute winner. He and Zakai Ziegler are going to leave here, George, having been in the top 25 their entire careers. I remember when I was on UT's campus as a student and we would crack the top 25 in the old USA Today. And, George, you felt like framing it.
Well, where you're going with that is an unbelievable example of consistency. I mean, good Lord, for the people who have complained about Barnes, be real careful because this ain't all bad.
As you know at Vanderbilt, and as I remember at Tennessee, and I tell people that all the time, the problem with Rick Barnes is that he wins so much that it's almost taken for granted. It's like the beautiful mountains here in East Tennessee where I live. It's like, George, the sun rising in the east and setting in the west. It's like Billy Derrick not wanting to go to a 9:00 start tonight.
Oh, wow.
There it is.
Well, how do you feel like, what do you think that does? I mean, Billy, obviously he's gotten you a resume and it's impressive, but this takes it down a notch, doesn't it?
No, in my book, it makes him go up a notch because it shows that the kid's got some sense. I mean, why in the world would you want to go sit out there till midnight and watch Vanderbilt and Arkansas play basketball? Jeez Louise, man. Have some standards.
Wow. Let me ask you this. You spend a lot of time watching Tennessee and talking about it on your show. Do you think there's either a style of play or a particular team that you sit there and say, I don't want them to play them because?
Team that can really shoot the ball, that can also play a little bit inside. Kentucky comes to mind. Those types of teams are not a good matchup for the Vols. Teams that Creighton would not be a good matchup for the Vols. Teams that Alabama is a great matchup for Tennessee, George, because they don't value possessions and they approach the game recklessly. That's always going to be a great matchup for a Tennessee. The thing the Vols have right now is that they didn't a month ago is they've grown Jordan Gainey to the point where he can give him help. He can give him some help at point guard in a pinch. And they've developed many ways to beat you on the offensive end. And with Lanier shooting the ball, if he shoots it halfway decently, Tennessee's going to have they're going to be a difficult team to knock out come March because their defense is so good.
Their defense is really good.
Oh, man.
Kelly, I'm afraid to ask what thoughts you may have, but I'm turning it over to you.
Yeah, there's not much going on in this skull right now. But hey, but Tony, hey, I asked a guy yesterday, and this is what bothers me a little bit about college basketball. Everything's becoming professionalism. We know that. But, like, what is the Nelson kid supposed to do when Chaz Lanier puts his right shoulder into his chest and he jumps right up and then he has an opportunity to get it? Because that kind of led things off. Like, the Meshack kid was all over the place. He does all the little things. He reminds me so much of Dennis Rodman, where he loves just rebounding. He loves playing defense, just like you said. He loves looking in somebody's eyes and knowing that I've beat him. And he kind of set that in motion the other day. But to play with Chaz Lanier, where he drives to the basket, and I don't understand what the Nelson kid's supposed to do. He puts his hands straight up, and I understand that you're at UT, you're at their place, and you're not going to get that call if you're Alabama. But what's he supposed to do?
It's not only that, Kelly. We don't see block charges anymore in basketball. They let all that stuff go. If you think guys think about it. And when's the last time you saw a charge called?
It's been a while.
Arkansas several years ago. God, the kid's name has escaped me right now, but he led the. He's in the NBA now. He led the country in charges drawn, and the coaches got together in the offseason and said, we got to get that out of our game. And so there are several things in today's game that you just don't see anymore. The block charge call is always going to go on the defender. They're not going to give you that call anymore. There's not, unless somebody flat out just runs you over, which I'll give you this, Kelly, that was borderline. The other thing that you don't see anymore, and I want you guys to think about this. When's the last time you saw a 3-second call in a basketball game?
Nixon administration.
That's exactly right. Isn't it weird, George? You do not.
Yeah.
You don't see it anymore. And the reason you don't see it is that the game's become extremely perimeter oriented. And now that they've gone away from that block charge thing, the game's even more perimeter oriented. You just don't see that very much, Kelly. I agree with you. I mean, if you're asking me, but that happens frequently in college basketball where guys will jump into guys and they call blocks because they don't call charges anymore. They're trying to get that out of their sport.
And it's another thing too is with the unfortunate thing that happened with Gene Hackman, everybody's talking about Hoosiers, but
yeah,
like you can't box anybody out. Like my daughter and them, I've asked my daughter before, and she was like, "Dad, they won't let us box out. They literally will not let you box out." And I told her, I said at the meeting before, when you have to go up there and talk to the referees, you need to say, "Hey, these girls are bigger than we are. We have to be able to box out. If we're not going to get a rebound." I don't understand where the rules are going, man. It's out the door. You don't get to do any of that stuff anymore. It's kind of like a touch me deal. But I'm not. There's no consistency to me, Tony, at all.
Well, the problem with Saturday's game is that early in the game, both those teams were cruising toward mass foul trouble. And then down the stretch in the game, Kelly, which you point out, you had to have like casualties on the floor for them to call foul.
Right.
You had Sears trip Zakai Ziegler from behind, no foul, no call. The play you're talking about, a lot of incidental contact, they just let those teams hammer each other inside, just beat on each other. And look, they were way out of control in the first half, the way the game was officiated. Two-way, it was officiated too tightly. And in the second half, they had to swallow their whistles or they were going to foul guys out. And it reminds me of, in baseball, look, a home plate umpire that's consistently bad or consistently has an off zone, you adjust eventually. But in a game like that, I don't know how either team adjusts because in 1 minute it's extremely tight. And then down the stretch, I literally have to draw blood like we're playing hockey for me to get a foul called on me.
No, you're right. So, hey, I asked you this last year, and I'm probably going to ask you if, Lord willing, I'm here every year. But, like, how do you the regular season championship, that's obviously I think that's the bigger thing now than winning the tournament championship, because you've got all these teams in the SEC, and the SEC is so good this year. You've got all these teams that are going to they're going to make the dance, all of them, and not all of them, but most of them. So how do you, as Rick Barnes, how do you as a coach in the SEC, if you know you're Auburn, you're Alabama, you're Tennessee, you're Florida, you're Missouri, you know you're going, so how do you treat this tournament? Are you trying to get guys healthy? Do you want to win this thing? Like, what are the coaches' mentalities at this point? Because I just don't see there's not as much onus on it as there used to be. Like, you used to want to win the SEC tournament, but I don't think I think if you got the regular season and you win it, that's good enough for you. Then you kind of get guys healthy. What are coaches thinking about this?
Every team, Kelly, that's hung a banner has, in the last 20 years, has gotten to at least the semifinals in their conference tournament. There's your number. And so with that in mind, that means in this tournament, getting to Saturday. I mean, the bracket shows that Tennessee will play the winner of Georgia, Texas versus Missouri. Win that game, then you feel good about yourself, holding on to hope that you can be in that number. But I don't think it's worth it getting to the conference final. It may be that this year, it may be that you have to do that to get a 1 seed, depending on what Florida and Alabama do the rest of this week, depending on what Florida, Alabama do in Nashville. But, I mean, to me, it seems absurd to have to get to Sunday, for instance, for me to hold on to a 1 seed if I'm a 1 seed going into that deal. The problem is they don't give us any information, and they leave it up to Joe Lunardi, and ESPN goes to him on a nightly basis, literally like he holds the standings in his hand. He knows about as much about it as we do in terms of the standings. And that's the thing about college sports, professional sports. In college sports, we've got a 14-team or a 12-team playoff bet to be 14, whatever. I don't know what the standings are from week to week. I don't know what team. In the NFL, I can look at the standings. In the NHL, I can look at the Predators and my Flyers and say, shame on you for the season you've had. In college basketball, it's Tennessee, like George said. It's Tennessee, it's Florida, it's Alabama, and I don't know. Are you on the one line? I don't know. I mean, what are we coming into tonight? And there's no standings. I mean, so there's nothing quantitative. I mean, I've got Ken Palm, I've got the net rating, I've got these guesses, I've got Joe Lunardi telling me how to think, but George, it doesn't make any sense.
Kelly, you've asked a really good deal here, because if you went back and listened to the selection chairman at the end over the last 10 years, darn near every one of them give you a different criteria, and you don't know what the hell the target is.
That's right.
I mean, what you've asked and then what Tony has answered, y'all are spot on with that.
And so what are we looking at? Like, the thing about college sports that gets me is they've continued to grow and grow and grow. But yet, fans have never been more in the dark. And now with this player movement and this free agency stuff, how guys can just get up, like this cornerback we were talking about last week on the show, and that still hasn't been remedied at Tennessee. We don't know what's going to happen with spring ball around the corner. Is he going to be? He's probably not going to be out there unless they give him a deal. But am I going to give a guy a deal that's publicly trying to hold me up? And then for fans just want to give their hearts to this. I just want something I can feel good about. We all do. I mean, whether you're watching kids compete in a high school court somewhere, or Kelly watching his daughter playing ball, or, I just want to know that, hey, you out there in the arena, you care as much as I do. And sometimes I wonder these days with some of these guys. It's a shame.
Are you still hearing about the NCAA of giving that 5th year Are you still hearing that? Do you think that's going to pass still, Tony? Because I know you were adamant about that a couple of months ago. Are you still adamant about that? Like, given the redshirt year doesn't count, you're still going to have 5 years.
Today I wrote about it on my blog. April 7th is the date they're having a hearing. And what April 7th is going to be is the NCAA is expecting the courts to give them some guidance in terms of this is what's expected of you. The NCAA is petitioning the courts, let us have a 5th year. If we're going to go more in this professionalism model, let us have a 5th year. One of the things that's going to come out of this, aside from a 5th year, I believe, is they're going to have a clearinghouse that's going to determine each player's fair market value. And that's what you're going to have to pay them. You can't go out and buy people at that point. Now, how they're going to determine fair market value, how they're going to do it with that many football players. Let's say you've got 60 teams in the upper level playing at that game. And let's say you got 85 guys on a team. I mean, that math, George, that's the reason I'm in broadcasting. I can't add and I can't do science.
Well said. Kelly, you finished?
I'm good.
Okay, Billy, get yourself on camera because the last few minutes have obviously cost you a little bit, maybe a potential job in the future.
Billy, I love you. I love you more now. I see you as more desirable as a hire than ever before because you saying to yourself, you know, sometimes in life you got to draw the line, and 9 o'clock local time for me, brother. I mean, that's 10 Eastern, Billy. Now, look at me. Look how haggard and just completely fried I look right now. Do you think I'm going to be up at 10 o'clock Eastern watching Vanderbilt play basketball tonight?
No. I've been to every home game. I think I can miss one.
No, that's
yes,
not.
You can miss one.
Hold on a second, though. You would be up at 8:42 p.m. local Central Daylight Time if the Flyers were playing the Preds in the playoffs.
Well, that's different. That's Arkansas basketball and Vandy. I mean, come on now. Vanderbilt is already in.
Yeah, that's
Billy,
not
we agree on that.
game.
They're in.
Vandy could lose out, and they'd be in the turn.
Have you called Byington to tell him that? Hey, pal, take the night off. Get you some rest.
I wouldn't be surprised if Arkansas wins tonight.
Oh, wow.
Boy, Arkansas. Hey, guys, they have by far the highest payroll in the SEC. You think those people down there are having buyer's remorse when they watch Byington put a team together in the spring? The guy that Calipari, the guy that replaced him at Kentucky's put together a team in the spring and had a better year. I mean, this Calipari guy, I'm telling you, that's buyer's remorse now.
And now the starting lineup. First for the visitors from Tyson Foods.
Exactly.
Not as bad as Tony's boy, Rodney Terry, though.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh.
We got a little,
poor Rodney Terry.
I'm not sure Rodney's going to make it. Hey, let's assume that today's conversation has been so riveting.
Yeah.
Somebody in the Middle Tennessee area is saying, man, I need to hear this guy more, even though he's got bags under his eyes.
He's fried. This guy's getting ready to take a nap. tclub.team. Again, tclub.team. Hey, Kelly, is your neck better? Because mine's flared up, man.
Is it?
On the way out.
I might have caused that. Yeah, my neck's better. Everything's better with me. I was down for about 2 weeks, man.
What did you do? How'd you get it right?
I had a massage. I went to the chiropractor. Yeah, it was. I was locked up, man. I was really bad, and I
got it right here, man.
I spent a lot of times on the couch, Hoss. It's not fun.
I played 6 hours of music the other night, like with a stringed instrument. Some musicians know this, but my neck was popping when I was doing it, Kelly. You know that thing where it gets so tight, it just feels like a band in there, man.
That's where it was with me last 2 weeks, man. It was awful.
Boy,
like Billy tightened up, like Billy when he saw that 9 o'clock local start.
Boy, I'm glad
Billy
we
ought to be upset. Billy ought to be upset because George is 79 years old and he's still going, and Billy's 21 and he's not. You know
hey, George, George, are you going to that game tonight?
Heck yeah.
That's why you're in the Hall of Fame, brother. I love George. You're not stopping George. You're not stopping George.
This is hilarious. Hey, you need to go get some rest.
Thank you, guys.
Tony, thank you. He is a piece of work. I love having him on. Billy, I don't know that he really will hire you now.
No, he knows I've got some sense, so I think he'll reconsider.
Okay.
Do you though? Do you?
I mean, why are y'all acting like this is such a foreign concept that I may not have interest in going to the game?
Any other time, you are the first person in the gate.
No, I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are.
Have you got a Billy? Just let us
It's
in. Have you got
9:00.
a date tonight? Have you got a date tonight, Oz?
Kelly, I'll talk to you later.
We'll go to the break. This is 94.9 The Fan.
As we step into the new year, there's nothing more important than family and safety. If a car wreck or big truck accident turns your world upside down, Bart Durham Injury Law is here to help. We're local, we're experienced, and we're ready to fight for what you deserve. Call us anytime at 615-242-9000. Really wishing you a safe and happy 2025 from Bart Durham Injury Law.
Attention college basketball fans. The University of Kentucky and Gonzaga will square off Friday night, December the 4th at Bridgestone Arena, and you won't want to miss it. Tickets go on sale to the public this Friday, March the 7th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time at bridgestonearena.com and on the Ticketmaster app. Two of the best college basketball programs playing right here in Nashville. Act now. Tickets will go quickly. This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Where can you see a saber-toothed tiger rappel from the rafters? How about a catfish fly? The biggest stars in Music City. Not to mention hockey's hottest ticket. The Predators win! Only in Smashville. See your Nashville Predators all season long at Bridgestone Arena. Single game tickets are on sale now at NashvillePredators.com. Let's go, Preds!
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner, large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today. PancoastBenefits.com or call them at 615-292-3400. .com or call them at 615-292-3400.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
Two total screw-ups of humongous proportions.
Sports. We're not living in an era where perfection is necessary.
They thought they were a championship contending team.
Here, we told you not to do this.
Your sports live here.
On ESPN 94.9. The Fan.
And the Game Nashville Sports Network. It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Good music. Okay, Kelly, you brought up an interesting issue. When the SEC reinstated, for instance, their postseason tournament in 1979, it was a 10-team league. Now it is ballooned to 16, and for the 8 teams that have to play on Wednesday, their path to winning the SEC tournament is 5 games in about 4.5 days. And for a team that is safely in the tournament, is it worth the extra effort? I think that's what you were getting at, right?
Correct. Yes. I'm not sure that it is. Are you?
Absolutely not. I can remember a game, and this is a terrible thing to say. Back around 1990, I thought LSU tanked an SEC tournament game at Memorial Gym. They had Shaquille O'Neal. They had a bunch of stars, and it didn't feel like the best stuff was put out there that night. Billy, I don't know if you've thought about it at all, but, I mean, it's an interesting proposition of, is a coach better off getting 3 extra days of rest and film study and whatever, as opposed to leaving Nashville late Sunday, getting back home, maybe just in time to find out who they're playing, and boom.
Yeah, I mean, last year you saw Auburn, a team that won the SEC tournament, ran through that tournament, beat Florida, but they were upset by Yale in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Whereas Alabama, they were one and done. They lost early in the SEC tournament last year. They ended up making the Final Four. So it really, there's no effect. The SEC tournament really doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, you win a title, and that's really fun. And I know coaches probably don't think this way, and maybe some do in certain situations. Like, if you're Auburn, yeah, you might want to go. That'd be cool to say you won the SEC tournament, but you really don't have to. I mean, it's not, but this year, I wonder if this year will be different because of the chances Alabama, Tennessee could get a 1 seed, or even Florida. Like we talked about with Tony, they'll be battling for that 1 seed spot. But are the SEC tournament games going to matter? They haven't really ever mattered to the committee because the title's on Sunday and they've got their bracket filled out really probably Saturday night. So, but I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it really doesn't matter.
So under the category of who will it matter to, you could argue South Carolina and LSU, it matters because this is their opportunity to win 5 games in 5 days and be the league champion. Good luck on that. It will matter to a Texas. It'll matter to a Georgia.
Oklahoma.
Vandy is probably, I think we all believe, played themselves past that point. So there are probably about 3 teams realistically that go into this with real question marks that need to be solved at the tournament. The rest of them, it could be a seed line up, it could be a seed line down. But Kelly, I don't know that it can go much farther than that.
I really don't think so. That's why I asked the question, because I just don't think, like, it's different for a Conference USA. It's different. I know we got Chip coming on, but it's different for a middle. It's different for a Belmont. It's different for a Lipscomb. Lipscomb's trying to play their way into the NCAA tournament and get an automatic bid. But, like, these Power 4 conferences, like, we already know that, Joe Lunardi's put all these teams in. They're probably all going to be in. Vandy's probably going to be in. They've done enough with, their quad 1 wins of getting in the tournament. So, like, what does it matter? Like, all all you're doing now is, if you're a Tennessee, if you're Auburn, you're just going to get somebody hurt. That's where it's boiling down to. And now we've put money, big money, into paying these guys. So now I don't know if you get a mentality of the NBA, the NFL, Major League Baseball. You want them playing when things matter. This tournament does not matter anymore. For some teams in Conference USA, ASUN, the Atlantic 10, all these smaller Mountain West, it matters. But but these don't matter. The SEC, the Big 10, the ACC, the Big 12, they don't matter.
Now, here's one where two teams probably already know their stuff. But if Alabama and Auburn were to meet, let's say, in the semifinals on Saturday, that'll matter because they hate each other.
Right,
and
correct.
There's a state pride deal on the line. Tennessee, Kentucky would be the same thing if they both got there. And that's what you're hoping, whether you're hoping for that matchup or not. What you're hoping for is that spirit of competition takes over, as opposed to what we're talking about, which is why risk it?
The thing that gets me too is, and Lenny Acuff talked about it the other day, there's so much pressure for these mid-major teams because they know, and I'm glad they put that rule in, but I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's for the top 12 conferences. But if you win the conference championship, the regular season conference champ, well, that doesn't matter. Because now all the stuff that you've done for 3 months can be ruined in 3 days. It's like if you look at that, like Lipscomb can do all this and they can win the conference championship, the regular season conference championship. But if they don't win the tournament, they're not going to the NCAA tournament. But then you got these big power conferences and we know everything is skewed that way. We understand that. That's where the money is. But it doesn't really matter. Like you have to start thinking as a coach, well, if we get on a run and maybe we're playing good, then maybe we keep going. But if my ultimate goal is to win the national championship, which all these young guys do and these coaches want to do, then why am I going to risk something when that's not the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is not an SEC champion. The ultimate goal is a national championship.
After the break, we will obviously have stat of the day, trying to make it 2 out of 2. But after that, we'll go back to back to back of how much good basketball is being played in our own backyard. You'll see what I mean. Please stick around.
Hey, it's Kevin Ingram. The Commodores host Arkansas Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Join Tim Thompson and me for the call. Pregame starts at 8:30. Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan and the Game Nashville app.
Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines, as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456 7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
This is the most anticipated March Madness that we have had in a long time. There's going to be some great basketball, and the George Plaster Show has it all covered. Whether we take our show to your business or you simply endorse things like March Madness scoreboard updates or other features, we've got it all covered. If you want to be part of a big March Madness, simply email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. We can fit all of your needs, and we'll find out what your budget will allow.
The Electronic Express tax refund sale is going on now. Get up to 40% off in every department, including 4K TVs, computers and accessories, Bluetooth headphones, furniture, and more. Plus, we have all your appliance needs in stock and ready to deliver. And buy now, pay later with up to 36 months free financing. Shop in-store or online at electronicexpress.com with express delivery on most items. Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Your sports live here. WBUZ HD3 Laverne. All around the world on the Game Nashville app. We are the Game Nashville Sports Network. ESPN 94.9. The Fan. A Cromwell media station.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders, coming up next. But first, stat of the day brought to you by Apple Collision Centers. You can find them in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. Give them a call, 615-754-9800, or log on to their website. That's applecollisioncenters.com. All right, we're going more college hoops today. Kansas is at risk of losing its streak of being a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. When was the last time Kansas wasn't a top 4 seed?
Oh, good Lord.
What year? Is that what you're asking?
He's asking what year. And
oh, my goodness.
There's not a soul in the world outside of the state of Kansas that could get this right.
Well, you answer it.
Let's go.
Don't look at the screen. You answer it.
Let's go 1995. It's obviously something absurd.
Yeah.
It is 2000.
Oh, an 8 seed. Poor Kansas.
We'll start a telethon.
Yeah, I feel bad for them. Okay, we welcome all of you officially into the 4 o'clock hour. From our digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue, we are now joined by MTSU play-by-play voice Chip Walters. In case you didn't know it, Chip once had to work with Kelly Holcomb in the broadcast booth. How many years did you put up with that?
5 arduous years. and even more than that, because Kelly and I still have a lot of fun in December working together at the Blue Cross Bowl.
Do you have advice for young William?
Patience is a virtue.
Seriously, you can tell me that again.
That's well said. So, Chip, you guys are the best kept secret going. There are a lot of people that will act shocked if MTSU gets in the NCAA tournament. But as I look at the standings, you're basically a half game back of Jacksonville State, having not played that 17th game yet. And so when you all hold your tournament next week, you're going to be right up there.
Well, and, and going into this, you're right. And, you look around town and, we're so blessed to be in a great college basketball area. Lipscomb won last night there in their semifinals. Belmont is, they're still playing. Vandy is in a good position right now. Tennessee's had a great year, and Middle, picked up their 20th win on Saturday out at UTEP, coming from behind. Now, George, that road trip is and Kelly's been on part of it, to New Mexico State and UTEP. once you get there, it's not bad because they're like within 40 miles of each other. But, it's a long trip out there, and Middle came from behind in both games to win both games on the road, and have now won 4 straight away from home, and have put themselves in a position for a game with Liberty on Thursday night. Right now, Jacksonville State at 12-5, Middle and Liberty are both 11-5. So the winner Thursday night moves into a tie for first with Jack State, who does not play Thursday night. They only have 1 game remaining. Middle has 2. Liberty at home Thursday, FIU at home on Saturday afternoon. Jacksonville State has a home game with Kennesaw, who has the soon-to-be crowned freshman of the year in our league. But it's been an unbelievable conference race this year, George. Everybody has been – you've had 4-way ties for third and throughout the year, and going into this final weekend, there's a lot of jockeying for positions. And when you look at how good this league has been this year, really only one team is kind of, and that would be FIU. And it's not that they can't beat anybody in the league. It's just they'd have a hard time winning 4 straight games next week in Huntsville. But outside of the Power 4, there are only 2 leagues that have 9 or more members of their conference in the top 170 in the net, and Conference USA is one of them this year. The other happens to be the Atlantic 10. So right now, Conference USA is the 9th ranked league in the net, which will put whoever ends up winning the regular season in a spot for an automatic NIT bid. But right now, everybody's looking, for something else and trying to hope they can get that.
Chip, is there a case to be made that Conference USA ought to get 2 bids?
Well, from a net standpoint, they've been pretty good. Liberty has been a top 100 all year. And I'll go on my little soapbox here. When they changed from the RPI to the net was developed for the Power 5s because it rewards blasting bad teams. You get rewarded for that. And let me look at my notes here from last night that I pulled up. And this should just tell you the little difference in the net and the RPI. Right now, Middle's net is like 105, and that's the second best in the league. But their RPI is like 55. So I don't know that there's a case right now for, multiple at-large bids. If, Liberty may go into the tournament with the best net ranking, but, everybody's still fairly close between where Liberty is and right now, whoever 9th place is. The only team below 170 is FIU. But Saturday or Thursday night rather is going to be a huge one, and it's a CBS national television game, CBS Network, Sports Network. So 6:30 in the Borough, and looking for a big crowd on Thursday night.
And they deserve it the way they've been playing. Kelly, say hello to your other broadcast partner.
Chip, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, Kelly. It was great seeing you and Lori the other night.
That didn't sound nearly as exciting or as excited as you should have been. It should have been, hey, Chip, great to hear from you.
Thanks for telling me how I'm supposed to act, George. Thank you. That's awesome.
And I was just telling you, Kelly, how nice it was to see you and Lori on Sunday night.
Correct. He got to see my better half, which is obviously I outkicked my coverage as most people did. So, hey, Chip, has this surprised you this year with Middle? I mean, as it's it's every year is going to be different. It's every year is like free agency now, and you're going to bring guys in, and some years it clicks, some years it's not going to click. But has it surprised you this year?
Not after what I saw in the summertime last year when they started coming in June. They brought in 6 out of the portal this year, and Jalen Counter, who is a transfer from IUPUI, and Isam Mustafa. Those have been huge difference makers. Isam played 3 years for Cliff Ellis at Coastal, and then went to TCU for a year. Kamari Lands started at Louisville, then to Arizona State. Now he's at Middle, and he hit the game winner on Saturday in overtime at UTEP. But you had a feeling with this group coming in that there was something pretty special about him. Counter is a really good operator at the point, and Mustafa he's a 25-year-old seasoned post player, George, who will have a game that could go for 25 more years at the Green Hills Y. He is one of those guys. And let me tell you a little bit about Isam Mustafa right now. And you know how players have to go through personal things throughout their career and their years. Well, Isam is he is Muslim. He is from Egypt. Well, Ramadan started on Saturday, which means he, as a practicing Muslim, cannot they're fasting for the next 30 days, which means no food or water between sunrise and sunset. So on Saturday, game day against UTEP, he's up at 4:30 having some breakfast. He had hydrated really well on Friday night. Comes out, has his 50th double-double of his career, 16 points, 16 rebounds in a win against UTEP. So all of his teammates obviously support him, and he's 25 years old. Like I said, he's been fasting for 17 years. He started when he was 8 years old. So he kind of knows how to prepare his body for this, but he's one of the real interesting stories and storylines as we go through this final week of the regular season and into the Conference USA tournament next week.
So Chip, this transfer portal stuff, it's obviously here to stay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you can build a team really quick, and you can get some bad apples in that team. But like, how does Middles of the world, how do the Lipscombs of the world, like, how is it going to be in years to come? Do you think it? I mean, it seems like guys are getting, like, Middle's getting good players. I mean, they've got some guys that have been able to compete. But how do you see that going in years to come?
Well, you know, I think one thing, I think this team could be the best recruiting brochure for Nick McDevitt in the next couple of years, because you look at here you've got Isam Mustafa, who's a one-year grad student coming in, having a great year, will probably be first or second team all conference. Jalen Counter, he is a grad student out of IUPUI who's come in and has flourished. So I think, you know, part of the recruiting process will be, hey, we've done this with guys in the past. We've got a decent NIL package that they can, that they have been fortunate to have over the last couple of years. And, you know, so, you know, I think that this year's team can be part of the recruiting process for what they do in the next few years. And kids can see that and say, hey, they're winning. They've got 20 wins on the year. They've got a great shot at going to postseason somewhere. So, you know, it kind of builds on itself. You don't want to get in a downward trajectory that way and having bad classes. But, you know, you're fortunate this year you've got a good class, but you've got 9 seniors on this team too. So the transfer portal is going to be huge for what they do next year as well.
We were talking the other night when we were at the restaurant, and you know, you got kind of up on your soapbox, and then I asked Tony Basilio before you came on about, like, the SEC tournament doesn't really matter. I mean, they got so many but the Conference USA tournament means a lot. The ASUN tournament means a lot. Will those rules ever change, Chip? I understand that the money goes where the money goes, everything goes, but you brought up a good point the other night to me is, and I've already used it on the show, but you work for 3 months, and then if you're in Conference USA, if you're in the Atlantic 10, if you're in the ASUN, 3 days can destroy what you've done for 3 months, which I don't think that's fair, but that's just the way we are. Do you see that ever changing?
You know, I don't know. It's, you know, they're talking about adding a few teams to the NCAA tournament. You know, I don't know whether that would affect the quote unquote mid majors where we currently stand. But, you know, I've always been one of those in a way that and this is just me talking, that, does the Sun Belt, does Conference USA, the A-Sun, would you be better off not having a conference tournament and letting your regular season champion go? Are you putting the best team in? I know the Sun Belt, if you look at their bracket, and it looks like an arrow the way that it's written, they're really doing a good job, or doing all they can to protect their best teams who have played well over 3 months. Right now, in Conference USA, if you're a top 6 out of 10, you can win the tournament with 3 games instead of having to play 4. That's the only advantage, other than if you're a top 2, you get a day off between Wednesday and Friday. But outside of that, leagues are trying to get creative with their brackets, and the Sun Belt bracket is by far the most creative and wacky that I've seen. You all might want to, if Billy can find that, he might want to bring that up, because it's wild. But I think conferences have to look at that, and how do you want to reward the team that has been your best over a 3-month period? But then again, coaches don't want to miss out on that opportunity to go in there for 3 days, get their team right, and play over 3 days and grab a bid somewhere. There's the Sun Belt bracket.
Yeah.
Look at that thing.
That's crazy. Hey, great report on your end.
By the way, I have a little piece of breaking news for you that I don't know if you saw yet or not.
Let's hear it.
Athletic Director Chris Massaro at Middle.
Oh, yeah.
Today has been appointed to the College Football Playoff Selection Committee.
I am really happy for him.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, he'll do great at that.
Yes, he will. Please pass on our congratulations to him, Chip. Thank you for doing this.
Good deal. Come on out Thursday night. We'll have a fun time.
Don't be shocked.
See you, brother.
You might see me.
See you.
Okay, after the break, it's very seldom that I've ever gotten to say this. After the break, we will meet the nation's #1 shooter. Yeah.
Nice.
And he's in our city. This is 94.9 The Fan.
New year, new priorities. Family and safety come first. If a car or truck accident disrupts your life, Bart Durham Injury Law is here to help. We're local, experienced, and ready to fight for you. Call 615-242-9000. Happy 2025 from Bart Durham Injury Law.
Attention college basketball fans. The University of Kentucky and Gonzaga will square off Friday night, December the 4th at Bridgestone Arena, and you won't want to miss it. Tickets go on sale to the public this Friday, March the 7th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time at BridgestoneArena.com and on the Ticketmaster app. 2 of the best college basketball programs playing right here in Nashville. Act now. Tickets will go quickly.
It's easy to say good things about the folks at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers. Number one, I trust them with something that's near and dear to me, the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. But more importantly, I see the fun people have. They enjoy the bowling, they enjoy the camaraderie, and you will too. Come by any of their locations and get ready to have some fun.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonleyTimmons.com.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank and Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank and Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Venture Express has been helping people in this area for more than 40 years. They're headquartered in Murfreesboro with over 30 years of dedicated fleets involving production, manufacturing, and corrugated experiences. They're an asset-based company with over 700 tractors, 4,000 trailers, and 800 drivers. If you need their help, dial them up 615-793-9500 or log on to ventureexpress.com.
Harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
Hey, Preds fans, the Predators are on the road tonight, concluding their 3-game trip in Boston against the Bruins. The game starts at 6 with Hal Gill and I on the call. Pre-game coverage begins at 5.
Smashville lives here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
Okay, I want all of you to listen closely. The nation's number one three-point shooter on the college level plays in Nashville, Tennessee. Tyler Lundblade from Belmont, 48.3%. He has been on about a 2-month heater that has been insane. Toss a couple more at you. He is 13th in the NCAA in 3-point field goals per game. He is one of 4 all-time Belmont Bruins, even though I didn't say that well, to hit 100 or more 3-point field goals in a season. And twice this year, he has been named the Missouri Valley Conference's Player of the Week. In November, I knew him as somebody who wore a headband, but today he is the nation's best long ball shooter. Tyler Lundblade joins us by phone. Tyler, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
So when you hear that, are you at all going, oh my God, they're talking about me?
Yeah, I think it still is surreal a little bit, considering the journey I've had and where I've come from, and just the last 8 months. But yeah, I mean it's been incredible and it's awesome to hear.
I'm going to get you to talk about the journey here in a minute, but I called it a heater for the last 6 to 8 weeks. Was there anything going on maybe in practice or in games where you said, man, everything is starting to click?
Maybe I think it's more so just kind of trusting, I've always known I was a good shooter, and I think it was more just kind of trusting, I had a little bit of a down stretch at the beginning of conference and just, trusting the work and, the law of percentages are going to even out eventually. And, that the ball is going to start going through the rim. And once it does, it's, it's kind of a snowball effect with your confidence as a shooter. And so I think I've just, trusted the work. I don't try to do, anything extra whenever things are going bad or do less when things are going good. I just try to be, the same guy every day and have the same approach and just kind of let the ball bounce as it will. but it definitely did feel like I started to hit a groove, and I've just kind of tried to ride that groove out as long as it'll last.
I was at the game Sunday, and as Murray is starting to make the run and you all have to take a timeout, twice in the next couple of possessions, it was either 2 or 3 possessions, you come off screens, catch, and boom. Have you always been able to do that?
Yeah, I think as early as I started playing basketball, I always had a knack for shooting. That was kind of the thing I was naturally good at. But in high school, I was more just kind of a spot up shooter. And then, my junior year at Faith, I was kind of our point guard. So I got a lot of experience, shooting off the dribble. But a lot of the stuff coming off screens is really developed since I got to college. And being a great shooter, you don't really get too many open, just spot shots on the perimeter. So that's really been something I've worked on. Really hard since really I got my first year at SMU. I had to figure out ways to find shots and just continue to work on, giving myself a little window of space because, to me, that's all I need to get it off and hopefully put it in.
So you talked about the journey. You're from Dallas. You start out at SMU, then it's TCU and on to Belmont. How did it end up here?
Yeah, it's been a crazy journey, but it all goes back really to my head coach at SMU, Tim Jankovic. After my first year at SMU, he retired, and we had a coaching change, and they pulled my scholarship, so I ended up going to TCU for 2 years and had some more ups and downs there. And then, ultimately Coach Jank was the one that called Coach Alexander here at Belmont and, told him my story, my situation. And at first we didn't think it was a possibility because all the scholarships were full. And then, Coach Jank called him back one more time because I really had no other options. And he was like, look, he'll come to Belmont as a walk-on. He just wants, an opportunity to play in a better situation than what I was in at TCU. And so, yeah, I've kept in close contact with Coach Jank ever since, he ended up retiring, and, it's been a connection that I owe him the world for reaching out to Coach Casey and making this connection. And so it's, that's a relationship I hold dearly.
Tyler, tell him I said it's too young to retire. I've known Tim from when he was at Vandy as an assistant for Kevin Stallings. He's way too young to retire.
Well, try to get him off the tennis court or to stop playing guitar. I think he's enjoying his retirement.
Good for him. Kelly, I know you've been watching this and listening to it intently. What do you got for Tyler?
Tyler, this is a question inquiring minds want to know. When I was growing up into the game of basketball, I obviously went another way, but you look at the front of the rim or the back of the rim. Obviously, it's a personal deal, but which one do you, because everybody says, well, you got to look here, you got to look there. As a shooter and leading the nation, what do you concentrate on?
That is a really good question. I look at the front of the rim. I know there's a lot of guys that say it's better to look at the back of the rim because then you don't give yourself a chance to miss short. But I don't know. I've always grown up looking at the front of the rim, and I think it's probably the easiest thing to look at, especially when a lot of your shots are contested because it's hard to find the back of the rim. So yeah, I had this debate with my high school coach. He's asking me that same question. I don't really pay too much mind to it anymore, but when I'm, if I'm sitting there shooting free throws, I'm definitely looking at the front of the rim.
You just answered it for me. Thank you, man. That's that is a question that has been on my mind for 40 years now, and I always looked at the front of the rim, but everybody says, well, you got to look at the back of the rim, and I'm like, you can't see the back of the rim. I'm looking at the front of the rim. So thank you for answering that. So, hey, do you have any pregame rituals that you do before the game?
I don't know if I'd call them rituals. I'm pretty routine oriented. So I always go out on the court 75 minutes before tip off. I'll do the same a ball handling and shooting routine before we start our team warm up. But even, back from the whole day of the game is pretty much the same routine for me. Whether it's watching film, when we eat pregame meal, all that stuff for me is pretty consistent.
From a player, how tough is the Missouri Valley Conference?
Oh, especially this year, it's super tough. For the last 2 years, I was watching the Big 12, not really playing much at TCU. And, that it reminds me of that league a lot because you have, especially this year, there's so much parity from top to bottom. Like, Missouri State, who's won 2 conference games, they've taken Drake to overtime twice. And they're just from top to bottom, like we go on the road and beat Bradley, and then we go to Valpo and get our tail kicked. And so, every team is really good, and any given night, anybody can beat anybody.
So my last question here, and I'll leave you alone. You've had some experiences with coaches, but just give us a little bit about Casey Alexander and how he coaches and how he, runs the organization. Just give us a little bit about Coach Alexander and what it's like playing for him.
Yeah, I think Coach Casey's, he's definitely, he's one of the brightest offensive minds I think I've definitely ever been around. His mind for, play calling, when to call what, who to call what for. His offensive mind is incredible. But, my favorite thing is, I probably have had more personal conversations with him than I've had with any of my other previous head coaches. And, it's a cool relationship. That it's definitely player coach first, but it's also, man and mentor second. And I think that's something that I've really appreciated, over the course of the time I've been here. And so, yeah, he keeps it light around the facility. He's always joking around and pranking us and trying to scare us when we walk out of the locker room. So it's definitely fun. He keeps it really light, but when it's time to lock in and get serious, he's one of the best coaches out there.
You want a little help on him?
Sure.
Tell him the Cubs suck.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll like that one.
Tyler, he'll know exactly where it's coming from because he and I have been battling that battle. I'm a big Braves fan, and he and I have been battling that for 20 years. I got to ask 2 other things before we let you go. When you say walk on, are you at the moment a non-scholarship player?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. Give him a second message. Tell him to come off the hip and pay up.
I agree.
I appreciate it. That's should be taken care of for next year.
Yeah, something tells me they're never going to allow you back on this show again if you do this stuff, but please do it. Second thing, where'd the headband deal come from?
I started growing my hair out a little bit, and I have really thin, floppy hair that just kind of goes all over the place when I work out and get sweaty, and so I figured I would try to keep it out of my face when I'm playing, and it also kind of looks cool, but most of the issue is just keeping the hair out of my face, and so it kind of caught trend at Belmont. Now we've got a bunch of guys wearing headbands, but it's mainly just to keep the hair out of my face.
So is this the first year you've done that?
Yeah, this is the first year that because most of my career I've always kept my hair short just for the fact that it's always in my face. But yeah, this year I was like, I'll just let it go and wear a headband and see how I like it. And so I keep doing that moving forward.
Okay, let's see how we end this properly. First of all, good luck starting on Friday in the Missouri Valley Conference tournament. If you're gonna tell Casey any of what I told you to tell him, make sure the heater is still going.
Yeah, we'll try to keep it going.
Listen, congratulations on what's gone on so far, and continued success to you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Pretty cool story. Tyler Lundblade from Belmont University by way of Dallas, Texas, the nation's best three-point field goal shooter, which means, Billy, that he'd be perfect at the Green Hills Y 20 years from now.
Just shooters.
Once a shooter, always a shooter.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just sit in the corner and shoot threes.
I would holler at you so bad if you were on my team.
Kelly,
Bad.
Kelly was the defensive and rebounding, I feel like. Couldn't hit a three.
Oh, I love doing that because nobody wants to do it. Now, I was a little bit bigger. When I was about 220, 225, I'd go under there and I'd body up. Now, I can't do that anymore, man. Just not going to do it.
You know a football player playing basketball when you see one.
Oh, absolutely.
I can score too now. And then with your little feeble mind that you've got, I'd have been all over you, Billy. I'd have talked so much garbage to you, and if you were on my team, I'd make you want to get off my team.
Billy, we used to have a great, really fun deal, 4-on-4 run and shoot. And I played with 3 Vanderbilt football players back in my 20s and 30s. And a timeout was taken one night by one of them who was not pleased with my defensive efforts. And I made clear to Steve Meads that I didn't give a damn about defense.
Meadsy.
I was out there for one thing, score.
You know what I'd give money to see, Billy? I would give money to see just George take off on a nice little stroll to see if there's any athleticism in his gait.
I think you would have been surprised.
He could probably play some pickleball.
That's my story, and at this late advanced age, I'm sticking to it. Okay, after the break, I said that this hour would be very local, and it will be. Trevecca hosting a big playoff game tonight on their campus. Coach Kevin Carroll will join us after the break on 94.9 The Fan.
As we step into the new year, there's nothing more important than family and safety. If a car wreck or big truck accident turns your world upside down, Bart Durham Injury Law is here to help. We're local, we're experienced, and we're ready to fight for what you deserve. Call us anytime at 615-242-9000. Really wishing you a safe and happy 2025 from Bart Durham Injury Law.
Attention college basketball fans. The University of Kentucky and Gonzaga will square off Friday night, December the 4th at Bridgestone Arena, and you won't want to miss it. Tickets go on sale to the public this Friday, March the 7th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time at BridgestoneArena.com and on the Ticketmaster app. 2 of the best college basketball programs playing right here in Nashville. Act now. Tickets will go quickly.
This is my buddy Stan Harrison from Apple Collision Centers. Recently, you've been talking to me about companies that have a fleet of trucks and they're always in need of repairs.
That's right, George. We understand that nobody likes to deal with the auto body repair process. We try to simplify that at our 3 convenient locations. We work with all major insurance companies. We help to ease the stress of the auto body repair process. We're located in Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin. If you need our services, please stop by and see us.
And how convenient that we have that in the background. Now, seriously, these are good folks. They do really good work. Give them a holler.
Where can you see a saber-toothed tiger rappel from the rafters? How about a catfish fly? The biggest stars in Music City. Not to mention hockey's hottest ticket.
The Predators win!
Only in Smashville. See your Nashville Predators all season long at Bridgestone Arena. Single game tickets are on sale now at NashvillePredators.com. Let's go, Preds!
If you are paying too much for your health insurance, you know what? You need to contact the folks at Pancoast Benefits. Pancoast works with businesses and individuals to tackle the high cost of health insurance. Whether you're a business owner large or small, self-employed, between jobs, or over the age of 65 and in need of a Medicare plan, Pancoast can help. They make understanding your benefits less difficult and more personal. So check them out today, pancoastbenefits.com, or call them at 615-292-3400. Okay, I mentioned earlier that in this 4 o'clock hour, we were going to scour this listening area to talk some great basketball. MTSU got a real shot in Conference USA. Belmont's headed to the Missouri Valley. Of course, Lipscomb last night advanced to the semifinal round of the A-Sun with their win over Central Arkansas. And lo and behold, one of their former coaches, who is now the head man at Trevecca, was in attendance, Kevin Carroll, who joins us for what is an interview to talk about really kind of a history-making deal tonight. Trevecca takes on Delta State in what is the opening round of the Gulf South Championships. Kevin, congratulations. This is some pretty heady stuff.
Well, thank you, George. I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me on. Anytime you get a chance to host a conference tournament game and get on the George Plaster show on the same day, you must be living right. I tell you what.
Oh, good Lord. Kelly, tell him the truth.
Yeah, don't say that, Coach. Don't worry about George. You just have to deal with George.
And the truth of it is, Kelly, he did that last night. He came up and said, hey, I need a little plug for our program. Boom. He's on.
Nice.
So, Kevin, in all honesty, all kidding aside, how cool is this for you all, and how excited are your players at the opportunity to host?
We're obviously extremely excited for the opportunity. It's been an amazing year for us thus far. We're going for win number 20 tonight. We're ranked 6th in the South region in Division II, which the top 8 teams in the region at the end of this week will qualify for the national tournament. So, a lot on the line tonight, but we're excited to have the opportunity to play in big games.
Kevin, this was a school that had not had a ton of success in basketball. When you got the job 2 years ago off of Lenny Acuff's staff, why did you think you could make this thing work, and did you think it could work this quickly?
I'll be honest, I typically am the type of person who just kind of tries to keep my head where my feet are. I don't know if I had a 2-year plan or a 5-year plan or whatever. I was just more so set out to, establish our program in a way and infiltrate, a certain culture and way about doing things that we thought that would eventually lead to success. We changed conferences this year. We moved from the GMAC into the Gulf South, which has a long-standing tradition of being one of the best Division II conferences in the country. So, I can't sit there and tell you, hey, we thought we might be playing for 20 wins on March the 4th. But I knew that we had a good team. We had one of the best players in Division II, Jalen Page, who went to Blackman High School, just was named first team all conference today. And we have some great recruits and some great returning players coming back. And I knew we had a good team. And it's just probably come together in ways that, that we can't fully explain, but we're extremely grateful.
Kevin, it looked like the first victory you got. I've been to enough Trevecca games over the years. The first thing I noticed a year ago when I walked into one of your games was, wow, he's gotten the student body activated and involved. That's got to feel pretty good.
It does. I am eternally grateful just for the community support that we have here, not only from our students, but from our administration and just from the people and in the campus community and in Nashville. I'll be honest, sometimes when you're walking into a program that hadn't really had a lot of success, I think they had not had won more than 6 games in the last 6 years. And there was probably a little bit, of a malaise a little bit around the program, and not a ton of people were showing a ton of interest. And, we got off to a great start last year. I think we were 13-14 to start the season, or 13-4 rather to start the season. And, people have shown up in droves and supported in ways that I probably never really envisioned.
Was there a moment where you felt like, okay, the message sunk in that, hey, we can be pretty good? And I guess I'm going back to year one with this because, as you mentioned, you all got off 13-4, I think is what you said. So somewhere non-belief had to turn into belief.
Yeah, it really did. And we had a lot of new pieces. So I think we had a lot of guys who just kind of had chips on their shoulders that maybe, for whatever reason, it didn't work out at the last place, or maybe they were overlooked and had to start out at a lower level and then move up to this level. And just, and one thing, the previous staff left a great culture. And so you didn't have to really change too much of that, but because you had guys who were great kids and hard workers and selfless and humble and all the things that we value. But, it's just, when you have an environment like we have in our home court, you've always got a chance. You've always got a chance to have a good season. Just because it's a tough place to come in. You've been here, George. You come in here, it's not the biggest gym in the world, but I'll tell you what, it gets rowdy really quick. And I think our teams have been fortunate enough to make the most of that.
So, Kelly, Trevecca goes in tonight as the 4 seed. Delta State is the 5. And this is the first time in school history they've gotten to host a playoff game.
Coach, what does Delta State do that concerns you? Is there something that they do that really concerns you going into the game tonight?
Yeah, they're an elite scoring team. They've got 2 just dynamic scorers that kind of like us. We've got 2 guys, Jalen Page and Jakari Johnson, that are both averaging over 20 points a game right now. And they have the same thing on their team. And so they can get it going really quick. They press the entire game, and they have the ability to go on, pretty substantial runs just with their ability to shoot the 3 and their ability to create turnovers and shots at the rim. So we've been fortunate. We've won 2 hard-fought games against them this year, but I guarantee you it'll be a dogfight again tonight because it's 2 good teams. They've won 10 out of their last 12. We beat them last Saturday on the road, but they've won 10 out of their last 12 and are probably the hottest team in the conference right now.
So you talked about Jalen Page and Jakari Johnson. Do those guys have to play good for you each and every night for you guys to have a chance, or is the supporting cast good enough as well?
We have a great supporting cast. We've got 5 fifth-year seniors on our team. In this day and age of college basketball, having an older team is rewarding. But, to those guys' credit, to Jalen and Jakari's credit, they have been super consistent. It just seems like every night one of them is getting at least 20, and in most nights both of them are getting 20. And, there's been nights where we've won without them playing great. But, lucky for me as a coach, those guys have really been consistent this year.
Well, my last thing is you got 2 young men that are on your team. Obviously, Hank Hutchinson, which is Philip's son. My daughter's really good friends with Hank. And then I was looking at your roster. I coached a young man in baseball a long time ago, Gus Davenport. I saw his daddy not too long ago at Costco, and he told me he was there. Is he still injured, or is he playing?
No, he is playing, and he has had a great year. Last year he was a sophomore and kind of learning his way, and this year he has really been one of our more stable and consistent players off the bench. Was a great big-time scorer coming out of high school, Cannon County High School, and has settled into a great role here and is a big part of our team. So, and Hank, I can't say enough about Hank. This is Hank's second duty here. He started here at Lipscomb or here at Trevecca, and then transferred to Lipscomb after his second year, where I coached him for 1 year, and then came back here for his grad year here this year. And just, he does a lot of stuff on the court, but his leadership and just the way that he kind of helps carry the locker room, you just really can't put a value on what he's done for our team this year.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, and good luck tonight. I wish you the best. I hope you all success against Delta State.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, guys. For those people who are driving home on a 5 o'clock afternoon, don't have anything going on, it's the last chance to see a really good team in action tonight at home, and encourage you to drive on over to Trevecca.
Hey, Kevin, leave us with one last thing. A scouting report on your broadcaster and my former radio partner, Gruff Dog.
I can tell you this. No one loves Trevecca and tells the stories about Trevecca better than Greg Ruff. He has been here a long time, and he has been exponentially helpful to me in connecting with a lot of the Trevecca alums and helping get people back. And he's a big part of why we've had such great crowds here these last 2 years.
Yeah.
So just really grateful for him.
I believe it. But my scouting report last night was better, wasn't it?
I'll let you guys talk about that amongst yourselves. All right. So
Kevin,
I need that guy in my corner.
Hey, thank you. Good luck tonight. I'm glad we were able to work this out on a game night. Good luck.
All right. Thanks, guys.
That is really cool that we could pull that off 2 hours before the game, Billy. He comes up to me over at Lipscomb. And by the way, I thought it was very cool that, a night before his big game, he's there to support Lenny Acuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. It's pretty cool to see how Coach Carroll is, really close with Casey, and how close Lenny and Casey are. I'm sure they've gotten together with Coach Byington, and Chip talked about it there at the top. It is strong right now in the state, not to mention Rick Barnes and Knoxville and Memphis, of course. I don't think it's been as good as it's been, at least in a long time. This year specifically.
This is up there pretty good.
And usually it's Lipscomb this is rare for them. If you really think about Lipscomb having a shot at making the tournament, it's usually Belmont, under Rick Byrd. But so it kind of roles reverse there. But man, it's been good this year.
Belmont's road is a lot harder in this Missouri Valley Conference. They have bit off a lot in that conference. Drake and Bradley are the two best, and they are really good.
I'll say this, that Queens team who beat Florida Gulf Coast, Kelly, I know on the women's side, they're the kryptonite of Lipscomb, but Queens knocked off Florida Gulf Coast. That Queens team is good. They're athletic. So that is not going to be easy. Good. That's not going to be easy for Lipscomb. It never is at this time of year, but just because you might have missed playing. And what did I say? Jacksonville ended up knocking off. Who did they beat? I've got the bracket right here.
EKU.
They beat EKU. They knocked off Eastern Kentucky, and that's a break that Lipscomb needed.
For Lipscomb, yeah,
they needed that. So
okay, after the break, we'll get into Plaster Bet of the Day. Yeah, Kelly, how about that?
How about it? I guess whatever.
Wasn't that a book?
Well, we give a at the beginning of the show, so we're ready.
Oh, you know it.
Bring them up.
We're back with more. This is 94.9 The Fan.
Hey, Preds fans. The Predators are on the road tonight, concluding their 3-game trip in Boston against the Bruins. The game starts at 6 with Hal Gill and I on the call. Pre-game coverage begins at 5. Smashville lives here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hit After Hit has become the baseball store in Tennessee. They have over 1,000 different models of gloves and over 1,500 wood bats. They also have several Iron Mike pitching machines as well as a Hit Tracks machine. If they don't have it, you probably don't need it. We're proud to call Hit After Hit the official shirt provider of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night.
This is the most anticipated March Madness that we have had in a long time. There's going to be some great basketball, and the George Plaster Show has it all covered. Whether we take our show to your business or you simply endorse things like March Madness scoreboard updates or other features, we've got it all covered. If you want to be part of a big March Madness, simply email me, plastergeorge@gmail.com. We can fit all of your needs, and we'll find out what your budget will allow.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client in every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
It's the George Plaster Show.
Your sports live here on 94.9 The Fan.
That is good music.
Iconic.
It's time for Bet of the Day, brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. We've got a big slate of SEC games. You've got a game at 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9
Bring them
tonight. And then, of course, some other action around the country. We'll see where Georgia's going with Bet of the Day. Brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. Here's what happened last night. As we mentioned earlier, the UCLA Bruins beat Northwestern.
So, yeah, absolutely. So we got 3 plays tonight. And, you know, Kelly, I'm banking that 2 of the 3 will come home. The first one is a little scary. Georgia is
scary.
on a roll, but they're also on the road to a South Carolina team that suddenly seems to have found something. They blew Arkansas off the face of the earth.
They also
Saturday.
beat Texas, did they not?
They did 2 weeks ago.
They're determined to keep the 13 SEC teams that people think out of the tournament.
But Georgia is playing really good basketball. Won at Texas Saturday night by way into double digits. I'm going with Georgia, even though the game's in Columbia. Here's a second road favorite. Baylor is just simply better than TCU. TCU is not nearly to the level of some old Jamie Dixon teams in Fort Worth. Baylor to cover and to win outright. And last but not least, the surging Bulldogs against a team that I think has shown some quit.
Yep.
I thought they quit, thought Texas quit Saturday night against Georgia. It wasn't a good look at all. It would not shock me if there's a coaching change in Austin soon.
Mississippi State's pretty tough too. They're
very
mentally
athletic.
tough. Yeah, athletic, mentally tough, physical. It'll be tough for Texas. That's for sure.
Yeah, Kelly, we're done.
See ya. Good luck with your picks. You know I don't truly mean that, but
No,
good luck
I know
for
you
you.
don't. Billy, go
And you-
home, get some rest. Apparently, you're weary.
Thanks. I'm gonna go
Billy,
get
why
some
don't
Red
you
Bull.
why don't you go home and take a nap and then get up and then go to the game? Why don't you do that?
I got too much to do, man.
Yeah, whatever.
No, you don't. What do you got to do?
I've had a lot. Have you ever had a busy
mystery,
day, Kelly, and you're like, no, I don't want to go to a game at 9 o'clock?
This is a mystery.
Busy
I don't
day.
want to hear this.
I've been up since 7 a.m., man.
Oh, please.
Oh my
Stop
gosh,
it.
Billy.
Stop it. You're
Go
taking
get
on
another
water.
girlfriend. Go get another girlfriend. Good gracious.
We're out of here. See you tomorrow. Whew. See ya.